Hello, Scott here. Hope you're well. So yesterday we had some mixed conditions in the markets. Maybe a bit of low liquidity because of the big news this week, the non-farm payroll. But some of the positions played out well. Hopefully you caught something yesterday. Today there's quite a lot to get through actually. Today's Thursday, so tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow, when the non-farm payroll and other big US news comes out, try and be clear of the markets then, because the liquidity disappears and the structure disappears, and who knows what can happen with the news. But there's some things on today, so we'll get into the charts and have a look at those. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen. Click the right buttons and we'll be on our way. Okay. Right, here we go. So there's quite a few things to talk about today. Let's get stuck into it. The first one is CAD Swiss. So again, we'll look at the higher time frames first, weekly, monthly, daily, and get a feel for where the market's going to go, we hope. And it's looking like we've had a lot of bearish action here in the last few weeks. A big bounce Monday, was that? Monday. And then it's been pulling back since then. So we've hit the daily 20-50 zone, this area here between the blue line and the red line. And that's often a good place for it to turn around if it's going to. We look for a support resistance line as well. So a quick look there. What do we see? Not too much going on there. But if you look at the monthly, you can see there's lots of action around this kind of area. So what else do we have? Just scanning back quickly, looking for any really obvious. Then we've got some good rejections here, and just missed it there. This is what I do to quickly identify whether a support resistance line is significant or whether it's just floating in the middle of nowhere, in which case the chances are it's not going to hold. So I'm just scanning back through the years. So we've got a bit of support here. Maybe just missed it there. So I suggest you do this with your resistance lines, SR lines, just to make sure that it is a valid one. Bit of noise around this kind of area. I don't want to go all the way back because we'll take a long time, but that's a good way to just check that it's a good area. Often recent highs is more important. So look, we've got some rejections here and here and here at this level. But it's actually spent 2 days reversing now, so it looks like, so there's always the risk it might just turn around and go straight back up again. But it looks like it's had a good rejection. And we need confirmation from the lower time frames that the trend has changed and we are now going short. Zoom into the 1 hour. So again, you can see my daily 50 line up here, the green, daily 20 just here. We're trading out of that zone, which is nice. We've got a clear breakdown. We've got lower highs. Do we have lower lows? Well, we do now. Yes, we've got lower lows. So that's a good indication as a trend change, at least down to these lows here. Using our fib from these highs down to the low from yesterday, and the 382 lines up well with the 1 hour 50, and the 4 hour 50 is a little bit below. Now we've got two things going on here. We've got an IBOC, actually the IBO being the initial breakout of the hourly 50, breakout and retest. It hasn't quite pulled back yet to touch the hourly 50, but it's close. And the other one we could look at is the CBO, which is the break of the 4 hour 50, which again, if we move the fib from this line, this run here that broke the 4 hour 50, but never really gave us a nice clear break and retest. So that one is probably not the one to go for. We're looking at CAD Swiss, so we've got another 6, 7, 8, 9 hours until the volume comes into this pair. Who knows what it'll do in that time? It may well just hang around here and then pull back in to give a nice entry and and then a nice short entry, and it'll play down to these lows. The pivots here as well, which helps. What else have we got? Something else I thought about, but it's just escaped me. Don't know. Okay, so that's one good looking one for maybe for later on. Now, if we look at Elliott wave here, we've got wave 1, wave 2 pullback, wave 3. This is wave 4, which is often a complex pullback. So we've got, if we get a complex pullback, like an ABC, goes there, pulls back, and then comes back for an entry. In 6 hours, 6 candles, about here somewhere. Yeah, that could be a nice little trade. But that'll be happening until about here somewhere. Okay, let's go Swiss. Let's move on quickly to CAD Yen. Okay, a little bit messy up here because the price action is not that clear. We've got a breakdown. That could be a wave 1, 2, wave 1, 2, 3, 4 pullback, and a 5. Well, it could just be a wave 1, wave 2 pullback, and then this is a wave 3 starting. So the hour that the daily 50 kind of spoils things a bit. We don't want to be trading through that. If you do a fib on this, let's just zoom into this. We've got a bit more room. If you do a fib on this run, we can see that from the highs to the lows, we pretty much hit the 382, which is a good area for that, for the rejection and for the trend to continue. And it actually stopped this line here, which we can see are these highs here. So that's quite a significant line, and this high here. So that's a good place. It looks like the 382 pullback has completed, and we could well be now on our nice long run down. Which, of course, if we do a fib, if this is a wave 1, do a fib on that, a fib extension. So we go from the highs to the lows and pull back to where our run is going to start, the wave 3. We can see the potential here. Typical run, wave 3 is 1.272 down here. So we could well have a position in here somewhere. We can be pushing 1.272, which is a big position. There'll be lots of pullbacks on the way, so don't go for those big numbers, because yes, they may work out, but you're for fine. It's better to aim for a higher strike rate, which means you're right more often than you're wrong, or that ratio is higher, and go for little wins than go for those big wins like that, but then your strike rate might be very low, and that can be not good for your prop firms, and also not good for your mental side of things as well, because if all these losers waiting for that big one, the big winner. Okay, let's move on from here. So that's what we're looking for. I'll get rid of that for the moment. The lower time frame, so here we have, looking nice, right on the 1 hour. The fib, lows, highs to the lows, pull back, just past the 382 to the 0.5, loading up here. And this happened when it was the beginning of the day. It's the beginning of these daily pivots, which is when the US session has just finished. And then the very low volume. So that's set up perfectly right at the end of the US session. We can put the volume on just to see what that looks like. So this candle here, this green doji candle, is on reasonable volume. The next doji candle there, the red one, is very low volume, and it gets even lower as we start off the day here in Asia, and everyone in New York has gone to sleep. So that gave an entry. Is that a valid entry for now? Well, it could be. Not now, but in an hour or two, 9:15, so another 45 minutes, and the volume will start picking up here in Australia, in Asia. So that could be a nice trade here. 1.75. So the daily 50s is green line. We don't want to trade through it, but it actually lines up pretty well with the entry. So if we had an entry down here somewhere, if you trade it down to the recent lows, which is still a very nice looking trade. So it's a good looking trade. The timing is a bit unfortunate with this low volume time around the century, but worth keeping an eye on. Euro Aussie. Okay, so we've had a bit of weird action beginning this week because of the start of the new quarter, but maybe it's settled down now. We've got this strong line here I've checked out, this support resistance line, which is rejected again, and it goes back. You can see on the monthly here and here and here, so they're pretty significant touches. So that's a strong line. We've seen yeah, it's been a bit, these candles are a bit large, there's no deceleration here, but that tends to be how this pair works as well. If we look back at Euro Aussie, maybe back here, big green candle followed by a big red candle, so it can turn around pretty quick. Here, you can right back here, big green candle, big red candle, so it can turn around very, very quickly. So nothing to be concerned about. We need the lower time frames to give us some confirmation with these wild swings we've been having. This trend line here was looking very strong, and it's been, apart from this big break here, but it's broken again, retested last night, and it's been broken down. Now I'm just noticing, it's always good to look for these trend lines because they can be very strong resistance. It doesn't like breaking through them sometimes. It can cause problems. So looking at this one, it looks like we do actually have yeah, got a trend line here, haven't we? Just spotted that. So we've got starting from here, rejection, rejection, rejection again. So we haven't broken through this trend line yet. So although this is a very nice looking setup, we're on Euro Aussie going short, which pulls back now, it gives an entry, and I wouldn't take that personally, because it could well hit this trend line again, maybe even spike through it and then pull back. Do we have a change in trend yet? We've got lower highs. Do we have lower lows? Well, if you count that as a low, yeah, we've got lower lows as well. Not most convincing. So we do seem to have a trend change, but this trend line here will keep me out. So there we go, always looking out for these kind of things. Euro Kiwi, which probably won't be too dissimilar to Euro Aussie. We've got a strong line here, strong resistance, which has been rejecting, and we had a very bearish day yesterday, and we expect that to continue. Let's look at the MACD. MACD doesn't give us much because of the strong run, but the RSI is showing very overbought earlier this week, and it's slowly coming down, but there's a way to go to halfway, so there's more room to the downside. Maybe this will come down to the daily 20. Look on the weekly. Again, we've got some pretty strong moves going on there. MACD, not really. RSI, pretty overbought. That's implying that we could be looking at some further downside. Over to the hourly. Okay, really nice strong trend line here, which finally got broken last night. Waiting for a pullback. But here would be perfect. If it goes to the 4 hour, then it may well do that. Now it's so close. Pullback. Let's move this over into around here somewhere. This will be an IBOC because the 4 hour will have been touched. I'm just guessing. If it doesn't, then we'll still be trading through it. This trend line is really good. Now we've broken it. The retest is pretty close to the trend line, so we shouldn't, hopefully, If it does break through the 382 and the 1 hour 50, just to retest this trend line, it's still long before our stop, which is nice. And we can trade that all the way down to the daily 20. This red line here. So that's looking like a nice trade. There's try and get through the 4 hour 50 before 1%. It's going to be close. And then trade down to the daily 20. Could be on for 2% plus there. That's like a really nice trade. That one will be one of the top of my list, I'd say. Let's look at euro dollar. We've had the pullback on this strong support line, pull back to daily 50, which is also exactly where this trend line, which has been going on since February this year. So it's been going for over 6 months. Long trend line, pretty strong. Anything on the MACD? We've got a big MACD divergence from this low to this low. You see it's going from here, it's getting higher here, so it's diverging. But from here down to here, still okay. So kind of mixed. It has been very, very oversold down here. Looking at the RSI. It's pretty back now to the halfway line. So you know, these strong trends can go on for a lot longer than you'd expect. So although we are expecting some kind of pullback sometime, the big rejection off of there suggests we're going to a day short today. The weekly and the monthly, you can see are both very overextended. It's been down in this oversold level on the RSI. I can't go in it because it pops up with these little things. But you see it's oversold all the way along here, all the way from here, which is here. And it's gone down a long way since then. So there's no way to tell that that is going to turn around anytime soon. Who knows? Who knows? So we're looking at the daily, looking like a short day today. Let's go to the 1 hour. Any trend lines in there? Well, we've got higher highs, higher lows. No obvious trend lines, but you can see that it's definitely broken down. Do we have lower highs and lower lows yet? Well, not really. It's going to be one massive run down. So that's a bit of a negative. Because if you look at this on the 4 hour, you can see that it's basically an uptrend. This has been a long pullback, a retest of this level here, these old highs, tested it on this low. It could easily be going up and up and up. So there's no confirmation on the 4 hour that the trend has changed. But it implies it with the daily 50 rejection. Break of the 1 hour 50. Fibs line up nicely. So we could be looking at a short here. That's giving it 1% down to the 4 hour 50. And also you can take it down to anywhere down here. These lows is offering over 3%, and all these lows right down here. 5%. So anyway, so there's plenty of potential there. So keep an eye on that one, EUR/USD. Okay, Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie, we've been streaming higher. Now it's kind of hit this level, which is a very strong level. I've checked that level. Check it for yourself. Just go back. What I do, quick tip, on TradingView, this icon up here, which is your layout. You've got 3 things here: symbol, crosshair, interval, and time. I have time clicked on. And what that means is that it synchronizes these different parts of the layout, these different charts inside the same layout. So when I click on this screen, on this layout part here, at the bottom, the daily, it synchronizes to the weekly and the monthly. So if I go to the monthly and click right back here, back in 2016, you see it takes you right back on the daily. It's 2016 I clicked. There we go. To 2016 and the weekly as well. So that way you can go back on the looking at your support resistance line, see where it crosses the price action, click on it, and it will synchronize with your daily. You can see quite clearly whether it's strong or not. And we can look here, and here it's very, very good support. It's come all the way up here, rejected this line, rejected this line again, and then it changed direction. So that is a pretty major line. And these are arrows down here. We'll fast forward you back to now. So we're looking for a bearish day today. Up here, this trend line we had yesterday, it's broken the 1 hour 50. Looking good. It's broken the 1 hour, but it hasn't really come back far enough. I would like to see the fib from the top. So for the 382 to be really significant, if you put it up here, it has to break the 1 hour 50 quite a long way to go back to 382, and there's a daily pivot here as well. And this break is not, it's a bit there, isn't it? It's not really that convincing. So I'd like to see it pull back down here somewhere. Down here, then pull back. And that will give us a nice entry for a trade down to the 4 hour 50, just below us. Pound yen. Similar kind of looking chart. We've got a big run up from the pound and a drop in the yen at the same time, making this a very strong bullish looking action. This level here, it's quite strong. Seems to have reversed yesterday. Not that convincing. This level, you could probably put the level there, maybe even here with these highs. And that's where it just about rejected. Maybe go back and check, see if we can find any levels around here on the monthly, see if they look really strong on the daily. Do we have any trend lines? Well, we probably got similar to the last one we looked at. We've got a trend line probably around here somewhere. There, broken retest maybe, or there, broken. That's probably a better one. Broken, back the 1 hour 50, pull back the fib from the top to the latest run. Lines up well with 382. But it's already happened again. It's the low. It's not a good session, not for me certainly. And pound yen, well, that can happen at any time of the day. Being yen being an Asian pair, so we could get a bit of spring loading when the volume comes in. Put the volume on the bottom still. It's still very low. I want to see it pull up a bit higher. The blue dots you see there are the average trading volume for this pair. So you see during the US and UK times, it's very high, and it's also down to almost nothing. Devil's hour, end of the US session before the Asia session kicks off. So I want to see some volume come in. Maybe they'll pull back a little bit further, load up, spring load up, and then gives an entry to pull down. It's a bit awkward. You could pull down to the 4 hour 50, but then you're trading to the daily 50. So that's probably not ideal. Something to consider. Pound Kiwi. Okay, looking similar again, same idea. SR line, rejection, looking bearish today. On the hourly, very strong trend line. Broken strongly yesterday. Rejected the 1 hour 50. And then it broke through the 1 hour 50, and when this stops and reverses, hopefully it'll give us a nice little entry to a setup there. Put out a 4 hour 50. That could be quite a nice little trade if it pulls back. Yep, off later. Pound USD, pound dollar. We have here long one up to close to the daily 50. I thought, why did it reject this level here? It's actually, this is the lows here, and rejected it there. So that's pretty strong. And I also noticed that if you go back here to this low, was that COVID the COVID low, you could call it. Perfect. That's hits that really well. So that is a very, very strong line. Happy with that. Happy with that rejection. And then we're trading out of the 2050 zone. So that should be okay. Trading into the 2050 zone, you need to be cautious because you can often get rejections. Like here, we've got a kind of rejection there, pull back a bit, finally broke through. Trading out, not so much of a worry. So again, strong trend line, broken, retest. Not a good time of day, but it could be this is pound dollar, so not really great for Asia time. Maybe to hang around for 5 or 6 hours and then give us a nice entry for breakdown. Okay, that's some more ones which are kind of imminent, setting up right now. We'll quickly go through the ones which may set up soon. There's probably some talking points in there. Aussie Kiwi did the low test yesterday. Is it ready to carry on its path upwards? Quite a lot of things are saying maybe not. Overbought on the RSI. No MACD to talk about, so that's quite happy. On the daily and the weekly, overbought for quite a long time. As I said, it can stay that way for a long time. So we could well be getting ready for some more upside here. Right, so the reason this is blue, we've got no proof, no confirmation yet we've had a change in trend up. Nice trend line here spotted, which rejected again last night, and it's going down again. Good. There's no real trade on for us. The CBO was yesterday. Pull back here. The 1 hour 50 and the 4 hour 50 very close together. You might have just got in here on an entry order as it tested the 1 hour 50, and then that's probably before some news event because it obviously this was yesterday. This was the Kiwi news. Okay, the news which wasn't really news, and the Kiwi collapsed. And Kiwi got stronger. Aussie Kiwi collapsed, so the Kiwi got stronger very quickly. So that caused a massive spike. That would have been a nice little winner for you. Then it pulled back. Anyway, for today, what we're waiting for here is some kind of price action. It may even come down, reject daily 50 still. There's no trade on for us. It needs to do its stuff. Put up here. Hopefully the hourly will be around, the hourly 50 will be around the 4 hour 50 as it trends up. Pull back to test the 4 hour 50 and the 1 hour 50 and give us a nice trade. When will that be? Maybe Monday, maybe tomorrow, probably Monday. Okay, just quickly go through these ones. Euro Swiss. So we've seen a pullback to the daily 50 I talked about yesterday. I know this is what I had on there yesterday, just down and up, and it's been pretty close. Whoops. So came back to the daily 50. Hasn't pulled back to the 4 hour 50 yet, so a bit of caution. This may well do. Let's get that out. Okay, so this may well pull up to here, break the daily 50 briefly, and then do that. So it's something to keep an eye on. Euro pound. Okay, big drop early in the week. Last few days it's been getting some strength, bouncing off the daily 50. Is this a strong line? Well, yeah, it kind of lines up with these highs. And you can go back and check just how strong that is. There seems to be, yeah, on its way back up again. That's what I had in there yesterday. So we're still waiting for. We've had pullback again at the wrong time of day, but we've had a pullback, and that could have been given as a nice little IBO entry, trading up to 450, which is now dropping a bit. Or you could be trading higher. So keep an eye on that one. Is there something on today? Probably next thing is for it to pull back to, if you're not already in, it's probably the best wait for the CBO. Complete breakout, so breakout of the 4-hour 50 as well. 1-hour 50 will be dragged up. Retest them both. Nice trade long. That'll probably be tomorrow, possibly. Possibly on Monday. USD, sorry, I'm getting a bit confused there. Let's go to Euro Yen on watch list. Okay, so again we've had rejection of this line. Bearish day yesterday. Okay, so the trend line we had up here was broken. I've deleted it now because I found this new trend line. You've got to be careful with the trend lines because the first time I drew it, I drew that. Which means that rejection, rejection, breakthrough, retest. Aha! We've broken the trend line. You've got to be careful because the trend line can also be that. Right? Which means it's not broken yet. So what I want to see here, break down, hopefully give another entry and trade that short. So that might even be later today. Keep an eye on that one. US Swiss. US Swiss. Pound Swiss. Pound Swiss. So rejection of the daily 50. I saw the doji yesterday. This line here I've checked out as quite a strong line. This one I just talked about before. Yeah. No? Okay. Just line up with this low test down here. It does perfectly. You see that on the closes of these candles. Close this candle, open this candle. So that is a strong line. Rejection, perfect rejection, and going short. Again, there's probably a trend line in there somewhere. If you've broken, we're pretty clear of it now. I can't see any obvious trend line from where we are now. Guess you could say that's a trend line, but not really. Not really. Could be. Could be. It's not clear. But they're so far apart, it's quite difficult. Now, a lot of these pairs we're looking at now, we looked at yesterday as possible pip snatchers, long. And I was warning against them because we could see the MACD divergence was huge, especially on this one. So we're going along here, similar highs, higher highs, and this is breaking down significantly. So that's a good indication that things are going to change. So, so is there a trend line there? Oh, I don't know, maybe. Maybe. There are better ones, better pairs with similar kind of price patterns, usually pound pairs. So keep that in mind. Dollar yen, last one. Oh, this one. Look at this one every single day for a long time. The triangle pattern is just still there. What happened yesterday? Well, we've had a break and then we've had a retest. So this trend on here for quite a while. Massive break here. And this was indicating that we could get a nice short trade out of this. But no, pull back for a retest. It's funny how it happens. That's always something you need to be aware of when you're trading breakouts like this. You're trading short in this case, but there's a trend line behind you which could get retested. Because this price action really has been going sideways, right? Look at it for quite a while. Right back here, which is 26th of September. That's over a week. And going sideways. Lows and highs, lows and highs, lows and highs. So although we did have a break of out of that triangle, break through that trend line, it did come back and retest it. So the only way now, really, the best way to play this one now, I'd suggest, is looking for a short somewhere around maybe a retest of 4 hour 50. But when we've had a break down here and a pullback, and trade it short. Now, say down here, so we get lower lows. So if we come back down and retest there, double bottom, you don't want to be taking that short. If you prove that this low is not that significant and it does a nice stronger lower low, then maybe that is worth taking as a short trade. So keep your eye on there. All right, good. There we go. So quite a lot to look forward to today. I hope you found that educational, the way I look at the charts and identify these setups. Good luck today. Just be aware of low liquidity possibly, especially tomorrow. And good luck in the markets. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care.